Hello, it is time for our daily science read aloud, The Rocky Road Trip. We only have 3 chapters left, and the last chapter, the ranger Marita is finally taking them to meet her uncle, who is a Chi Indian, but she said he would know about Bright Angel Mine. So we might finally figure out about Carlos's rock. Chapter 6. The magic school jet taxied to a stop in the desert. Marita was the first one off the plane. She looked really excited. "Hurry up, kids," she said. "The trading post closes soon. I don't want to miss my uncle." Up ahead, I saw an awesome-looking building. The sign above its door read, "Turquoise Trail Trading Post." The place looked right out of a Western movie. "Where's your rock, Carlos?" Miss Frizzle asked. "I bet Mr. Chi can identify it." "I've got it right here," I said, patting my knapsack. "Do you think it might be turquoise?" "No, Carlos," the Frizz said. "I think you might have an even bigger surprise than turquoise." I was getting more and more curious about my lumpy yellowish rock. What kind of mine was the Bright Angel Mine? As we walked up the wooden steps of the trading post, a tall man with gray hair walked out to meet us. "Marita," he called out. "Who did you bring to visit me?" Marita introduced us to her uncle, Micah Chi. "Come on inside," Mr. Chi said. We followed Mr. Chi into the trading post. The most amazing things were on the walls. Navajo blankets, buffalo heads, jewelry, and arrowheads and flints. "I'm working on some gemstones," Mr. Chi told us. "I can show you some beauties." "Is a gemstone a rock?" Phoebe asked. "I know the answer to that," D.A. broke in. And here is her report that I will read next. What a Gem by D.A. Gemstones are a rare kind of mineral. They are beautiful and hard. People value them for their color and wear them in jewelry. A diamond is usually clear with fiery lights. A ruby is red. A sapphire is blue. An emerald is green. An opal is milky white with blue, pink, and green highlights. An opal is one of my favorites. Gemstones are measured by weight in carats. Long ago, gems were weighed on a balance scale against a pile of carob beans. 1 carat is roughly the weight of 1 carob bean. And the word carat comes from the Greek word for carob bean, keratin. And when they say carat, it's not spelled like the vegetable, it's C-A-R-A-T. So you might hear about carats of gold or diamonds. That's what that means. "Uncle Micah," Marita said, "will you show the kids your workroom?" As we all followed Mr. Chi into a back room, Marita explained, "Uncle Micah is a famous Native American silversmith. Wait till you see his gems." Mr. Chi took us into his workroom. Spread out on a table were semi-precious stones of every shape and color. "That's a garnet," Keisha said. "My birthstone is a garnet." I spotted an amazing blue stone. It was the color of a deep blue sky. "Is this turquoise?" I asked Mr. Chi. "No, it's an even more valuable stone called lapis lazuli," Mr. Chi said. "And do you know how to identify lapis?" I shook my head. All of a sudden I realized that I knew a lot about rocks, but not much about minerals. "Here, I'll show you," Mr. Chi said, picking up the lapis lazuli stone. "One way to identify a mineral or gemstone is called the streak test. Just watch." And out of his notebook here we have the streak test from Micah Chi's notebook. You can't always judge a mineral by its color. Some minerals, like tourmaline, can be black, brown, pink, green, or blue. But there is one good way to use color for identification, the streak test. Here's how. Use the rough back of a white ceramic tile. Rub the mineral across the tile. Check out the color of the streak. The streak of color left on the tile can help you narrow down what the mineral may be. Here is a list of some minerals and the color of their streaks. All right, tourmaline will have a white streak. Green malachite will be green. Black hematite will be a cherry red. Gold will have a golden yellow streak. Lapis lazuli will be light blue. And pyrite will be greenish black. So one way to tell gold from fool's gold, gold will have a golden yellow streak. Pyrite or fool's gold will have a greenish black streak. Mr. Chi scratched the stone against the back of a white tile. Sure enough, it left a light blue streak. We spent some time using the streak test on other gemstones. When Mr. Chi showed us his crystal collection, it was out of sight. Ralphie had done a report on crystals. Excuse me, Mr. Chi, DA said. What are those stones that you set in silver? They are really cool. All right, before I go on, we're going to talk about Cool Crystals by Ralphie. Mineral crystals are nature's gems. They have flat sides or faces. You can identify a crystal by the shape of its faces. Pyrite, also known as fool's gold, is shaped like a cube. Its faces are square. Beryl, including emerald, has hexagonal or six-sided faces. All right, so DA just asked, what are the stones you set in silver? They're really cool. Those are turquoise stones, Mr. Chi explained. The blue-green color comes from the copper and traces of iron in the stone. Take a look at the different stones. The more iron there is, the greener the stone. Why is your trading post called the Turquoise Trail? Tim asked. Because I know where to find deposits of turquoise in the hills around here, Mr. Chi said. It's a family secret. We won't tell, all of us said at once. Marita gave us a serious look. Can we be sure our family secret will be safe? We'll be as silent as stone, won't we, kids? Ms. Frizzle said. Okay, Uncle Micah, Marita said. They'll keep your secret. Let's go. Mr. Chi smiled and headed to the door, motioning for us to follow. Where are we going? Arnold asked nervously. And how are we getting there? I don't know how the Frizz did it, but when we went outside, she was waiting in front of the trading post, and she was sitting on top of the Magic School stagecoach, drawn by 4 horses. Yippee! I yelled. Can I sit up top with you, Miss Frizzle? Before she could say no, I jumped up onto the wooden seat in front of the stagecoach. The rest of the class, along with Mr. Chi and Marita, climbed into the big stagecoach. Giddy up! Ms. Frizzle yelled at the horses, and we were off. The horses tore across the desert, pulling the bouncing stagecoach behind them. From inside the stagecoach, I could hear Arnold's voice. So here's our picture of them getting ready to head out. I don't want to see any bandits, Arnold was yelling. Get me out of this thing. We drove across the desert for an hour. Finally, Mr. Chi stuck his head out of the stagecoach window. When you see a big red butte standing close to a mesa, steer the horses to the right and rein 'em in. 10 minutes later, Miss Frizzle pulled the stagecoach up close to the butte. The horses came to a stop in a big cloud of dust. Grab your rockhound tools, Miss Frizzle said. You can help collect turquoise for Mr. Chi. I opened my knapsack and checked my tools. Soon we were all chipping and chiseling away at the rocks around us. Tim found a big chunk of turquoise that Mr. Chi said was worth hundreds of dollars. Mr. Chi, it's amazing to see your family's secret mine, I said. Can I show you a specimen that's part of my family history? I pulled my mystery rock from my pocket and held it out to him. It came from my grandfather. We call it the Bright Angel Rock. Mr. Chi took the rock from my hands and turned it over and over. Then he pulled the tile from his pocket. Why don't you try the streak test? All right, before that, though, we've got Tools of the Trade by Carlos. Every real rockhound needs at least 2 pieces of equipment. A geologist's hammer is a square head on one end for hammering into rock. The other side of the head has a chisel edge for splitting rocks. A magnifying lens is used to identify mineral grains. It makes a mineral crystal the size of a pinpoint appear large enough to see. All right, so the streak test. I couldn't believe it. I don't know why I didn't think to do the streak test myself. The white tile, then held it up for everyone to see. D.A. gasped. Mr. Chi smiled. The streak was golden yellow. All right, does anyone remember what golden yellow meant on the streak test? My eyes got wide. Does that mean it's time we headed off to the Bright Angel mine, Mr. Chi said. Are you ready to search for gold? Was I ever? All right, so the rock he has is gold. All right, now we have a note from the desk of Ms. Frizzle. Good as gold. How can you identify real gold? Here's what to look for. A hardness on the Mohs scale of 2.5 to 3.0, which means gold is pretty soft. A shiny, opaque surface, a bright gold color, and a golden streak left by the streak test. All right, we only have 2 more chapters to go. So I wonder if they're going to find more gold or what's going to happen at Bright Angel Mine. All right, thanks for tuning in today. I will see you later.